Twin Oaks Middle School.
I'm Kirsty, and I'm a 7th grader at Twin Oaks Middle School.
Let us introduce you to our team.
Hello everyone, how are we doing today? My name is Cole Greenlee. I'm one of our captains for Prior Lake Robotics. So these guys are part of a 300 student program, and I'm going to ask them some questions today. So going down the line, what is your name and what grade are you in?
I'm Kirsty, and I'm a 7th grader at Twin Oaks.
My name's Kirk, and I am a 6th grader at Hidden Oaks Middle School.
My name is Sarah, and I'm a 7th grader at Hidden Oaks Middle School.
My name is Lisa, and I'm a 7th grader at Hidden Oaks.
My name is Connor, and I'm a 7th grader at Twin Oaks.
So guys, what has been your favorite part of robotics?
I really just liked helping out the teams at the Minneapolis tournament, and it was sorry. Okay. Sorry, I missed on that one. But I just really liked helping out the inner city kids at the Minneapolis tournament. We actually helped out a few different kids in different teams. Like Rising Phoenix, we helped them go from 0 to 54 points in just one run, which I thought was pretty cool.
My favorite part would probably be learning to cooperate with each other over the year and just learning new things and trying stuff.
Was programming with each other and helping each other as well as other teams.
My favorite part of robotics is probably solving problems and
My favorite part of robotics was just the whole experience, and it was a new experience for me because robotics wasn't a thing that I was starting out in.
Now, do you guys have any people in specific that have helped you get to where you are and achieve the things that you've achieved?
Well, I would definitely appreciate Lisa Maldonado for everything she's done for us, because she was the one who ran the whole FLL program for us. But also, I would agree that there are many more people out there who helped us along the way.
You know, a few of you should know this, but I have autism spectrum disorder, and I've had quite a few struggles along the way. And you stuck with me through it, which I am very grateful for. And I hope you know your impact on the students of Prior Lake, the community, and the world are.
Isn't that just a nice story? Didn't know you were going to say that. Okay, well thank you guys for everything you've done for our team and all of your contributions. Next I would like to introduce Michael Bros, one of our seniors from the team, to talk a little bit more about what our team at the high school level has done.
Well, hello. I don't think I've ever gotten applause that well. As Cole said, my name is Mike. I was the lead on a project this year that we called the Drone Camp. Over the summer, we had 2 weeks of students, 7th through 9th graders, come into the high school and learn how to build, fly, and then compete with small racing drones. It was a blast, and I gotta say right now that we do it because King Tech is passionate about what you guys are passionate about, teaching others new technology, new things, and advancing our students' mind so they can be prepared for the real world. And I just want to thank you so much, because if it wasn't for the district support, and specifically Lisa Lind, it would not have been possible for the John Camp to happen this year. It was an awesome event, and all I got was feedback and more feedback. All the kids loved it. They had some downtime, that was a little bit of a complaint, but we can only learn from feedback. And I love that we do the feedback almost the same way the teachers have done every year that I've been in the high school, where they send out a form, and you just say what was wrong with the class. And a lot of times I was the one who filled out that form. It's nothing on you, I just had a problem with curriculum sometimes. These kids had a problem with curriculum, but we can only learn from our mistakes. And I just want to thank you so much for giving me that opportunity, because if it wasn't for the support of the district and my many years of school in the Fire Lake District, I never would have been on the stage right now talking to you guys about a summer camp that I hosted. I created, I had the idea for it, I got the support for it, and it was only through my many years of talking with teachers and people encouraging me that I was able to have the confidence to do something like that. And it's incredible. It's something I can put on my resume, it's something that I can look back to for the rest of my life. So thank you so much. I'm going to invite Cole back on the stage to talk a little bit more about King Tech and its impact on students.
Thanks, Mike. So, without you guys, we would not be where we are. So, the impact that you guys have had on us as students has been incredible. Like, give yourselves a round of applause. Like, you guys are good. So, like Mike said, you guys have had a profound impact on our lives. And without you guys here, we would not be able to achieve the things we've achieved. Right now, our team is one of the top 6 in the world, and without you guys, we wouldn't know how to be there. We wouldn't know how to engineer drawings. We wouldn't know basic science and math, and it's thanks to you guys that we do know that stuff. So, through those experiences and working with you guys, we've had some amazing opportunities that have come. I've gotten an internship at a local company here. We've had members of the team move on to multi-billion-dollar corporations. They've done some really amazing things, and it is much in part to you guys. So thank you for that. Now I'd like to bring out just a handful of the kids that you guys have impacted from Fire Lake. And now they should walk out. So, like I said, this is just a very small handful of people that you guys have impacted as educators. From all of us here, we'd like to give a profound thank you for everything that you've done, and we'd then like to show you a quick video.
Do you LLL?
First light only.
I'm in the King Tech in-house program.
I'm in FTC.
I'm currently in the FRC program.
I'm currently an alumni and mentor of King Tech.
My mom kind of edged me onto it, and over the years I kind of realized how great it's been.
I just wanted to do an activity that was different than what most people do, like sports.
I joined robotics because I feel that it could teach me a lot of life lessons and many skills that could be helpful later in life.
In freshman orientation, when they had all the different tables and booths set out, and I saw the robotics table, and they had their robots being demonstrated, moving back and forth. And I thought back to a time in elementary school when they brought us to the high school into the lecture hall, and the FRC team was demonstrating their robot. And I just sort of connected the moments, and I thought it'd be really cool to join.
They had robots that are like this big, and they're ranging all different sorts of sizes, and they'd pick up the ball and throw them. And I didn't necessarily understand the rules at all because I was watching, and it made absolutely no sense to me, but I liked it.
Not only were we having some issues with the robots, but so were our alliance partners, and we really got to work together with other FRC teams to try and come together and win matches, even when we knew it wouldn't be easy.
So when we were working down in the pits, all the upperclassmen were like making sure the robot was ready to go and getting it out on the field. But then what actually ended up happening was they called on me to come help them. And I mean, I was a freshman, so I was like, okay, I'll go do what they need me to. But I was able to help them get the robot fixed, and we got it out on the field, and that was probably our best match of the day.
The competitions, because I think that's one of the most fun parts of robotics, because that's finally when you get to look at what your robot can do and see how other teams tackle the same problem that you did.
When King Tech paraded in downtown Prior Lake, when we connected with fellow community members and a lot of young kids, that was a very humbling and exciting experience.
Don't be scared to try new things. You're going to have a lot of opportunities to learn, to make new friends, and as long as you put yourself out there, you won't regret it.
Sometimes you just got to keep pressing through until you can finally succeed.
Keep it simple and have fun.
Don't let anyone ever tell you you can't do something. Don't ever stop pushing, because if you set your mind to something, you'll be able to do anything.
Thank you to the members of our robotics team. Thank you for sharing your intellect, your passion, your voices, your humor, your intelligence, and mostly thank you for telling your story. Welcome to 2016-17. I am delighted to welcome you all back. Or 17-18. I should look at my notes a little bit more. In deciding the theme for this year, I wanted to maintain the theme of We Are PLSAS, but I wanted to deepen that. I wanted for us collectively to define further, what does that mean to be PLSAS? And I couldn't think of a better way to do that than to really focus this year on hearing our stories, telling our stories. And to start out with, I wanted the voices of students again. We could have pulled in students anywhere, from anywhere in our district. But I wanted to bring forward students that you all have had an impact on, that you've seen grow up from the time they entered our early childhood programs until now. And that you're able to see through your support, through the support of other adults in our community and our community partnership, what amazing things our students can do every single day. Because of you, because of the support that you provide, and because of you sharing yourselves with them so that they can be at their best. Our official outcomes for the day are up on the screen. Hopefully you've already connected professionally and personally with one another. We hope that by the end of this morning you're able, and hopefully you have throughout the week, to feel really connected to our district work. We hope that you feel that sense of community at Prior Lake Savage Area Schools, and we hope that you are inspired to begin the year. The unofficial outcomes of today are that we want you to hear some stories. We want you to remind yourself of your story and determine how you will continue to encourage, to listen to pull out at times the voices and the stories of the students that you're going to greet. We've got a lot of amazing stories here. Right now I'd like to highlight just a couple of those. First of all, our Child Nutrition Services team writes their own story continuously. The innovation, the way that they look at health and nutrition, and the changes that they make to serve our students and us as adults is amazing. So I want to thank the Child Nutrition Services team for this amazing breakfast. I want to thank Dave Tuma, who is behind the lights and technology and technical assistance for every single one of the events that are here, and Dr. Bizek, high school custodians and staff for hosting us this morning. Would staff who are new to Prior Lake Savage Area Schools, please stand up. That you chose Prior Lake Savage Area Schools, and we are so happy that you're going to continue to write your story here with us. And to the rest of you, thank you for returning again, and thank you for choosing Prior Lake Savage Area Schools again, because we know you could be anywhere. You could be doing this work that you're passionate about anywhere, and you choose to be here, and for that, I am so grateful. So, I can't wait to hear and see the next edition of your stories, but welcome back to another year. In addition, we are PLSAS, and we are led by a team of school board members who stay focused on our work and ensure that we have a clear direction and a clear vision to ensure that our mission, which is to educate all learners to reach their full potential as contributing and productive members of our ever-changing global community, comes to life for all of our students. So today, I'd like to recognize and thank all of our board members, especially our board members who are here, Chair Rich Wolf, Vice Chair Lee Shimmick, and Director Todd Sorensen. Thank you very much. Chair Wolf to just share a couple words, and I'm sure his story with us, or just a few words.
From behalf of the board, I want to welcome all of you back, and we as a board understand that each and every one of you, whether you're a custodian, a secretary, work in our cafeterias, teacher assistant, or a teacher, of the profound effect you have on the students and their impact in the schools, in the community, and as you saw, in the world. My story as a parent, and now as a grandparent, I know, I'm a young guy. But my granddaughter is now turning 5. She wants to go to kindergarten very bad, but she missed the cutoff by a couple days, so she has to wait another year. And I can see in her eyes, I get to view from a new viewpoint, the growth and the impact that teachers have on her life. So again, thank you, and for all that you do for this district, and welcome back.
Thank you so much, Rich, and to all of our board members for the relentless service that you provide our school district. We are PLSAS. Here are stories. So, once upon a time, in a land not so far away, there was a young girl who wanted to change the world. So she became an educator. Now I'm not going to quite be that cheesy during this entire thing, but I do think it's important to model vulnerability and 80s and 90s hair. Unfortunately, I'm not sure. That's all right. Anyway, my story as an educator began as an 8th grade English teacher. My goal was to help students love literature, love writing, and most importantly, love themselves. I wanted them to see themselves reflected in the books and the stories that we read. And I wanted them to find their own voices through the essays, the stories, the constructed responses that they provided. I challenge students to create essays and to write stories about topics that matter to them. And as 8th graders, the topic that mattered to them was them. How many of you have taught the elements of a story before? Come on. Absolutely. Some very important ELA standards are part of those lessons. I'm going to remind you all of the elements of the story throughout this presentation. We're going to talk about our PLSAS story. We're going to talk about the setting, the time and place. We're going to talk about the multiple characters who make up our story. We're going to talk about the plot and the events that those characters encounter. We're going to talk about conflict. And ultimately, we're going to talk about resolution. And we're going to seek that happier ever after ending. So our setting, beautiful location, South Metro, a community filled with lakes and parks, a place that is amazing to raise children, to work, to live, as you all know. The setting takes place in 2017-18, and that's a really important part of our story, because District 719 in 2017 looks really different than it did 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, even 5 years ago. Our school district includes 48.92 square miles, and we serve the cities of Prior Lake, cities of Savage, the Spring Lake Township, the Credit River Township, and our surrounding areas. Just imagine the complexity of our bus routes. Our district buildings and grounds are at the center of Prior Lake Savage area schools. We have 13 buildings that include 1.3 square feet of space. Thank you to our custodial team who ensures that all 1.3 million square feet look absolutely fantastic. The district property covers 311 acres of land. And the most important aspect of our setting are the teaching spaces that you provide the magic and the experiences for our students. In our classrooms, in our offices, in our outdoor learning spaces, on our fields, on the stage, in our cafeterias, in our lab spaces, and in every single hallway and nook and cranny that you find to facilitate learning with students and where they find places to learn from one another. The setting to our story matters, and it matters to the many characters in our story. And the second element of the story is the characters, and we certainly have a lot of characters in this story. We have a lot of characters, and more of them are joining us every single day. Currently, we have 1,400 staff who choose Prior Lake Savage area schools each day. And y'all choose to support over 8,500 students and families. We've hired over 100 staff in the last year, and naturally, some staff have also chosen to leave or retire. And we're anticipating over 2,000 additional students in the next 10 years. Now, that's not a surprise to us, nor is it a different trend than what we've experienced. Because since 2000, we've averaged 215 new students a year. So this isn't a surprise. We planned for it and knew that our students would be here, and they're coming, and I'm guessing there's more enrolling at the DSC as we speak. Well, over 8,500 kindergarten through 12th grade students are characters who attend our schools. We also serve more than 550 students in our early childhood programs, and we served 5,237 students and adults in our community ed programs and kids company over the summer. There is no such thing as summers off with this cast of characters. We embrace the stories of each of our students, and we celebrate the rich diversity of cultures and backgrounds that our students bring to enhance our schools and enhance our lives. I'm so proud of the equity work that we've started this week and a couple weeks ago with Dr. Shiraki Holly to enhance our mindset and our skill set as we become more culturally responsive in order to meet the needs of all of our students. The stories of our students are complex and sometimes not heard in a relatively affluent community and school district. And that's why it's so important for us to listen really deeply and to hear the stories of our students, to seek understanding of who they are, of where they've come from, of what they've experienced, and most importantly, of what they need. In order to ensure that every student is successful, we must meet each student where they are and help take them to the best place that they can possibly be. And today, we celebrate and recognize a whole bunch of characters sitting here right now. You, the heroes of our story, who work to love, to serve, to educate, to challenge, to be present for our students each and every day. Thank you for your role in our amazing story. We have a whole lot of quantitative data from our staff, parent, and student surveys that highlight the amazing work that you do. But today, I wanted to share some qualitative data with you. I wanted to share a story that shines light on the positive impact that you have on our students. So please help me right now in welcoming Chris, Lisa, and Chase Lycan to the stage.
Good morning, D17 faculty and staff. When Terry asked us to come up here and talk, I'll be honest, I didn't hesitate for two reasons. One, because you're incredible, and I wanted to tell you how you've affected our life, and two, actually my whole elementary, junior high, and part of my high school career I spent at the principal's office for teachers who didn't want to hear me talk. So that's a true story. This is great. So I'm Chris Lycan. This is Lisa. This is our son, Chase Lycan. We've got our two other children that want to come support Tanner and Ava. Ava's going into 6th, the first year there, and Chase is going into 3rd grade at Red Tail Ridge. This will be his 4th year there. That video you just watched, that was actually taken on March 29th, 2013, about 14 hours before we went on to a cruise ship. And when we got on there, we had 4 hours to kind of hang out and kill time before the meeting. And so we decided, we were with 5 other couples, which a lot of you probably know from Prior Lake here. Our plan was to meet them at the pool deck. And we got up to the pool deck, and it was busier than this room right here. And as we started to walk around, about 5 minutes, it took about 5 minutes, we found them. Lisa bent down to get the sunscreen, and Chase was missing. So, at first we just kind of started looking. Chase had done this before, went off in the corner, got scared, and no big deal. Well, that no big deal turned into 5 minutes later. Tanner came running up to me and said, "Yeah, Dad, it's Chase." And I looked over his shoulder, and there was Chase's lifeless blue little body getting pushed up and down by complete strangers. And all I could do was hit the pavement and pray. And as I peeked up, I thought, this isn't how it is on TV. You pump up a couple times, the water comes out, everything's great, a few coughs. No, not this time. So they worked on him for about 10 minutes and still no sign of life, no heartbeat, no breathing. And then they took him down to the first floor to the hospital room where there was actually a nurse and a dentist that were first working on him that were just on the cruise with us. And all Lisa and I could do was sit outside the room and wait and pray. You know, we didn't know if we were going to see him again. And about 18 minutes later, so it's about 30 minutes that he had no pulse, no breathing. Gabby, who was one of the heroes that helped save his life, came out and gave us a hug and said, "We've got a faint heartbeat. I've done what I can. It's up to God to do the rest." So from there, they took him to a local hospital where we were bused about 20 minutes away to meet him. And as we got there, there was a life flight helicopter, and we all, the kids and I, got out to pretty much say goodbye to Chase because he still was lifeless and we didn't know what was going on. So they life flighted him to Arnold Palmer Hospital, where they immediately put him on a drug-induced coma and lowered his core temperature down to 93 degrees. And we met with the doctors initially and to give us the grim news that he had suffered a collapsed lung, pneumonia, and that he had a severe infection from the IV that they had poked him, initially resuscitating him. And so once they got into the coma and started bringing up his temperature, we nearly lost him there. His temperature spiked to 1 something too crazy. And then his heartbeat, again, we almost lost him. His heartbeat was so high that they gave him some heart lowering meds that it dropped down to like 16 beats per minute. But you know, everything that came Chase's way, he overcame. I mean, it was absolutely incredible to see the power of God. He initially, one of the bigger obstacles was obviously to get his core temperature where it needs to be, and then it was to get him breathing on his own, and then to get over the pneumonia. So having said all that, 7 days later, we were given the clearance to fly back here to Minnesota to continue our journey and his recovery. And that morning, Chase had an MRI, and then we met with the doctors, and we looked at the MRI, and they started throwing out all these terms, and you know, Lisa and I obviously were deer in the headlights, and we just said, well, what's that mean? When's he going to get better? And the doctor looked at us, and she had a tear down her eye and said, I got to be honest with you guys, if he makes it, you're probably going to be raising him in a hospital. And you know, we didn't believe that. So they flew us back. We spent 11 days at St. Paul Children's, where Chase fought storms and his pneumonia and got through it all. And then from there, we went to Gillette's, where we, for 3 months, were on the 4th floor of the physical therapy room, where we lived, took turns coming back and forth with Tanner and Ava. But it was throughout that time that we first really got introduced to D17's power. You know, we had talked about, first of all, we didn't know if Chase was even going to make it home, and then, you know, once we realized that he was going to come home, we wanted a sense of normalcy, and school came up, and we kind of looked at each other like, how the heck did he go to school? You know, from what I remember back in high school and grade school, is that there were children with special needs, but they were in some dark corner in the basement, and you know, you sure didn't interact with them, and most of the kids made fun of him. And we both thought, with his health condition, with knowing that, there's no way we want a kid to go to school. But so Lisa had talked to Jeffers, and they'd recommend that we meet with Barb and staff at Red Tail. And man, the minute we sat down with that staff, lights out, everything changed. It was incredible. Just the people that we talked to, and the smiles, and how Barb explained the culture that they were imposing, and how Chase would be good. He'd have a nurse. You guys don't have to worry about it. We got this. We want to help him. Well, not only did they live up to what they said, they far exceeded our expectations. So Chase goes to, in the morning, is life skills, half life skills, and then half mainstream class, where he, you tell him, buddy. But he gets PT, he gets interaction, he gets educated, and most of all, he gets to be one of the kids. And that has been so important to our family, not just to Chase knowing that he's getting educated, but to us as a family, and especially his brother and sister, getting through just what happened. I mean, there's their best friend, and there he is getting treated like everybody else. I mean, we go out and these little kids come bounce by Chase. It's incredible. Chase is one of them, and he should. And that's why I wanted to show that video, because that's how we see Chase. I know he's a little dude sitting there in a wheelchair who's trying to talk, but that's the Chase I know, that's the Chase our family knows, and that's the Chase that Red Tail Ridge knows. And to me, knowing that, it just makes everything okay. Our family has learned countless things from this journey. And at the top of that is one, that he's in charge and he's good. No doubt about that. And two, that we live in the most incredible community. And all of you are responsible, have a big part in that, what you're doing to our youth. And you're not just doing to our youth, you're doing to our family. And if you ever forget that, you call us up, I'll tell you what you've done for our family. It's incredible. And I want to thank you all for everything. Keep doing what you're doing, because everybody has a story. Not all of them had an accident in front of 2,000 people and had to make it public and sit up here and make a fool of themselves on a mic. But everybody has a story, and I know you know that. That's why you do what you do. Keep doing it, because you're making a difference. Thank you.
So that's one story, one student, one of our families that you so profoundly impacted and touched. You could have brought 8,500 other students and their families onto stage and heard in a different way the measure and the importance of the role that you've played in their lives. So I thank Chris, Chase, and Lisa for being here this morning. And I thank you for accepting every student, for loving every student, for listening to every student, whether they can talk in the words we're accustomed to or differently. You do that every day. The third characteristic of a story is the plot. The why things happen in a story and the events that help us understand our characters and the choices that they make. And you know our plot. You know our why. You know our purpose. You know why we do the work that we do every day. And you know that these aren't just words to me, and I know they're not just words to you. We're clear with the direction that we need to go. We're clear with our promise to our community, our promise to our parents, and our promise to every student that walks through our doors. That we will do everything it takes to listen deeply and then respond to what they need to make sure that they all reach their full potential. So when we come together, whether it's an event like this Whether it's a learning team meeting, whether it's a coaching meeting before the big game, it's always to coordinate actions so that we can achieve our strategic directions, which ultimately allows us to achieve this mission. But you don't need my voice reminding you of the vision or our mission. You hear the voices and the stories of students each day, asking you in different ways to support them, to love them, and to help them reach their full potential. So I'm just going to remind you of Rachel reminding us of our mission.
This year, because of you, I learned about science and I want to be a scientist when I grow up.
So remember we closed last year, and Rachel said, I'm going to be a scientist when I grow up. And I have no doubt, I think Rachel was a second grader last year, third grader this year, is that right? I think that's right. She's young, she's little, but she's going to be a scientist. Our plot, our purpose, our story is to create the conditions to ensure a positive, a challenging, a supportive learning environment so that students have a vision and the support they need to reach their dreams. Whether their dreams are to be a scientist, or a CEO, or a nurse, or a mechanic, or an educator. Our plot involves over 8,500 students with 8,500 different stories, and no one can do this work alone. And that's why it's so important that we come together, that we have shared leadership, that we know and believe that multiple perspectives, multiple voices help us get to better solutions and better answers for our kids. And if we all do our part in bringing our voices, bringing our expertise, bringing our stories forward, we will have all we need to ensure that our students achieve. And along the way, I hope that your dreams come true as well. I think that's the greatest thing about this profession, is we get to constantly grow and learn, and we get to constantly reflect on who we are. And while most days we don't feel like we've done enough, I think the stories that Lisa and Chris shared with us today remind us that we do a lot. Our story is about high expectations for ourselves and for our students. We're trusted with the most prized possession of every single parent. We hold ourselves accountable to the indicators on our district scorecard, and we study those results through data to say, what can we learn? How can we learn more about each student's story through the data that we collect? Our story is one of continuing to perform on average at very high levels. We score well above the state average on our standardized test. We're 12% above the state average in reading and almost 20% above state average in math and science. So it's a lot to be proud of. And being a high-performing district with successful outcomes doesn't just happen. We ensure that we're very focused and very strategic and very planful in the work that we do. Now, I hope this is about the 5th time this week you've seen this document. And if it's not, I'll make sure that that happens more and more. And here's why it matters. Because y'all know the mission. But I want to be sure that you all also feel really confident that we just don't have this aspiring mission, but we have a really intentional plan of making that mission come to life. And you all are a part of that plan. So we've got our green and purple work, right? Our priority work, which you're all a part of. Our green work is the work we do and we just want to get better. And our purple work is the work that is a little bit new, that we're developing, that we're learning about, that we're implementing. We can only do that together. We don't want to sit at the DSC and design these amazing systems. We want you to be a part of the design, a part of the implementation, a part of the struggle, and a part of the celebration. Because we all need to get in the boat and row the boat together. Oh wait, that's a different thing. All of you provide the opportunities and bring to life the events that make up our plot. Your work helps to implement our priority work and the goals and improve the experiences and the results for our students. The planning and the facilitating that you do each day create the events which enable our students to have choices in their learning and for us to personalize learning for all kids, which results in success for them and certainly success for our school district. Here are a few of the other outcomes outside of standardized tests that show our excellence and show our dedication to be the best we can be. People continue to move into our districts to attend our schools every day. We hear that from cities, we hear that from realtors over and over again. People choose the Prior Lake Savage Area School District to live their lives and raise their kids because of you, because of our schools. We're a national leader in environmental education in our E-STEM efforts. We sent another team this summer from Loyola Del Lago and Edgewood to Washington, D.C. to get national recognition for yet another Green Ribbon Award. That doesn't just happen. It happens because you, from our youngest learners, establish a passion, establish structures, establish lessons and engagement so that students care about the environment. For the 8th year in a row, our business office has won the Certificate of Excellence for Financial Reporting from the Association of School Business Officials. Again, showing that we do really amazing things at a whole lot less than most districts, but on almost all districts in this metro area. And we've been named one of the best school districts in Minnesota by Niche, coming in at 15th out of 353 public schools. And the top grades, the way that was measured was through teachers, academics, college readiness, health and safety, and club and activities. Our students make great choices, and as a result of that, they have amazing opportunities because of you. What a great plot and story to tell. However, not all of our students are experiencing success yet. We have an excellent school district, but we know that we need to do even more. Students are coming to us with many obstacles and barriers to their learning, and it's up to us to meet them where they are. Not expect them to meet us, but to meet them where they are, to give them what they need so that they can evolve into their best versions of themselves. And we do that through high levels of support, through high expectations, and through love and kindness. Remember, our mission is for all learners. The conflict of our story, and in that literary element, the conflict is that struggle between two opposing forces. Our conflict, like every school district in the country, is that we have not yet closed gaps or had all students achieve success in the way that we want them to. We still have students that are underserved, and we still have achievement gaps that we need to close. And we have students who need us more than other students need us. Our conflict is that not all of our graduates yet, or all of our students yet graduate. And we know that without the most basic high school diploma, career opportunities and post-secondary opportunities are closed to many of our students. And that is certainly in conflict and in direct opposition to what our mission is. We're a people business, and each student has a different story. Our jobs, our responsibility, our charge each day is to understand deeply what students need. It's our responsibility to help students define their individual success and to provide personalized learning opportunities and support for our more than 8,500 students. We need to recognize, and I know that you do recognize, that each child is unique and their learning style is unique. And as a staff, we have to find a unique way to touch and to reach each student. You as staff all have your own story that brought you to education, that brought you here today. Please help me welcome David Lawson as he shares his story with us.
Thank you, Terry. Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is David Lawson. I teach social studies at Bridges Area Learning Center. I want to share with you something of my journey to PLSAS and why I'm so passionate about working with our ALC students and remarkable Bridges staff. Each one of you has a compelling story to tell. Here's a bit of my story. I undertook graduate education studies and Minnesota teacher licensure in 2008. but not before a 20-plus year career as a classically French-trained chef and cook, or cook and chef, that comes first. I had earlier entered into a cooking apprenticeship as a way of temporarily avoiding law school, but got hooked into the cooking life and never looked back. My culinary career took me from Minneapolis to Washington, D.C., to London, France, and Italy, and eventually back to the U.S. As a young cook, I was fortunate to work under a succession of talented and demanding chefs who became mentors, guides, and protectors. I learned that the best chefs are not always the greatest cooks, but are themselves fantastic teachers. The best share their secrets and techniques, hoping, as all teachers do, that their students will go on to success and happiness. In Europe, I worked and trained in Paris, Lyon, and Strasbourg. At times, I was the only American in a French kitchen, trying to live down a reputation for cheeseburgers, ketchup, and Rambo movies. I learned to make bread from captured wild yeast, to milk chocolate from cocoa beans, to use every part of the pig from tail to snout, and to pick the stems off a 4-pound box of French green beans in under 7 minutes. In London, I worked for Chef Alberu at Le Gavroche, a 3-Michelin-starred temple of French gastronomy. Le Gavroche would also be a formative kitchen for a young Gordon Ramsay, the television mega chef known for colorful, profane verbal takedowns of wannabe chefs. Our shared journey is that we both rose up through the ranks, putting in long hours for low pay in myriad kitchens. Gordon now earns as much as Beyonce. I'm grateful for our excellent health insurance. Thank you, PLSAS School Board. From my perspective as a teacher, I see professional cooking as much in common with project-based learning. The instructional strategy, shout out to Melissa, by the way. The instructional strategy designed to pull students into meaningful engagement with complex situations and questions. In a restaurant kitchen, there are challenging real-world problems to solve. We have 110 reservations booked and the fish guy is late. Everyone on the team is motivated and engaged. Chef, the guy at table 23 is a reviewer from the Times. In serious kitchens, the inquiry is sustained, rigorous, and authentic. We started work at 9 a.m., dinner service starts at 5:30 p.m., and the front house just booked a 6-top for 10:15, and they want a tasting menu. It's going to be a long night. In competitive kitchens, however, cooks do not have what we call student voice. In kitchens, reflection, where students consider the effectiveness of your inquiry, is often characterized by physical exhaustion and muttered questions, what the hell have I got myself into? And at times, tears and self-doubt. But as with all worthy learning projects, perseverance is rewarded. After Europe, I returned to the US and was a chef in Massachusetts and New York, and for 11 years owned a restaurant and country inn. Over those years, I hired dozens of young cooks and wait staff, and always took it as my first duty to teach, to promote, and to care for my staff like a family. This is where my life as a chef prepared me for life as an ALC teacher. And in some respects, Bridges shares a few traits with professional kitchens, which I've experienced. Let me explain. Anthony Bourdain, who you may know from his culinary travel programs, made his name first as a chef and author. He wrote a book called Kitchen Confidential, which detailed the gritty underbelly of professional cooking in the tradition of George Orwell's Down and Out in Paris and London. Bourdain wrote that kitchens are a safe haven for artists, exiles, refugees, mercenaries, but also for craftsmen and dreamers. Successful kitchens and successful schools, I would argue, are both broadly accepting places where character counts and the ability to work well with others is a must. Kitchens are typically comprised of individuals that can be relied upon when the pressure's on, and those that are loyal to the mission, even, as Bourdain says, in the face of battlefield conditions. My Bridges colleagues are similarly dedicated to the PLSAS mission of educating all learners. Our backgrounds, our life experiences, our talents vary widely, but we share a common goal: to tap student potential. Individuals succeeding under pressure describes our unique and wonderful students as well. Their talents, their life stories, perspectives, and aspirations thrill and motivate us, even as their journeys are sometimes less than symmetrical, colored by challenges and bumps in the road. Unlike snarky restaurant reviewers that can savage a kitchen with one bad review, at Bridges we meet our students each day with unconditional, positive regard, and dare I say it, with love. Our reward is not stars or diamonds or positive Yelp reviews, but in seeing our graduates find success in the larger community. Lastly, A word about Bridges' leader and coordinator, David Brown, our executive chef. Brown exhibits many of the traits of an excellent executive chef, minus the yelling and the full-on crazy. He hardly ever throws sharp objects. Like a good head chef, he inspires and leads, providing recipes and tools. He has a keen dedication to customer service, be it to students, to their families, and to us, his line cooks. Brown understands that food has a wonderful ability to bring us together, to nourish body and soul, and to promote connection and community. If you ever happen to visit Bridges during the Bridges Breakfast Challenge held each May, you will see why it rains is one of the most anticipated days in our year. We cook for each other, and like all good cooks, we show our love with the food we share. I'm honored to be a part of the unfolding PLSAS story. Thank you for hearing my story.
Your stories might all be a little bit different than David's, but I am confident that any one of you could have come up here. You could have connected your life experiences, your passions, your talents to why you're here today at Prior Lake Savage Area Schools, doing the work that you do. And I dare say also, David, it's about love. Thank you very, very much. Under the best circumstances, it's difficult to meet the needs of every one of our learners, as Dave just talked about. And at PLSAS, right now, we have additional conflict or barrier to meeting the needs of all learners in spaces that provide 21st century space and opportunities for our students. We have a lot of students here. Most of our schools are over or at capacity, and we have more students coming in every day, which certainly is one of our conflicts, and it's certainly one of the barriers that you're experiencing, and I cannot tell you how proud I am for the way that you continue to roll up your sleeves, find solutions that meet the needs of kids without impacting learning. You're doing a phenomenal job, and hopefully when we get to the resolution part of the story, we've got a different answer. So let's talk a little bit about the resolution. But first, let's review those 5 story elements. Let's do a little check-in with each other to see if we remember what those are, right? Prior Lake is a great place to be. Our plot is a great community. Our setting is 2017. Our characters are the amazing people that we're around every day as we continue to transform teaching and learning. Our plot, the reason we exist, are our kids. And we'll continue to work through that plot as we go through the conflicts that exist toward resolution. Resolution is how do our characters overcome that conflict. I am absolutely confident that we've got everything it takes to do it here. And that is through relationships. We can find the genius inside each one of our students by listening to their stories, so that you really know them, you know their passions, you know their talents, you know their interests and their dreams, and you can connect them and support them and guide them to success. You are the resolution of our story, and the relationships that you build every day matter. We build relationships by believing in the full potential of all learners. Here's some of that quantitative data that our parents talked about. We build relationships by believing in the potential of all students. Look at what students have to say about that. And look at the other statistics that provide evidence that we are working to resolve the conflicts in our Prior Lake Savage Area School stories. We have a high degree of respect in this community. Our quality of education, our quality of instruction, and the regard that our community has for all of you and the work that you do is absolutely amazing. And perhaps, besides the great value that we provide this community and their home values, the greatest statistic that I have gone back to time and time again since we took those surveys last spring is the one up in the corner. 99% of our staff, 99% of you are proud to be associated with Prior Lake Savage Area Schools and its brand. I have never, ever heard of a district where that exists. And that's not about me, and that's not about any one person. It's about those of you who show up year after year after year, day after day after day, believing in our mission, trusting the direction of our district, getting on board and saying, yes, I'll join that build. Yes, I'll do this. Yes, I'll do this, because you want to be part of the solution. And by being part of the solution, you not only have created an amazing district, but you've created an amazing culture. This is a place people want to be. This is a place we keep choosing. This is a place we keep showing up to. The other way we resolve our conflict is through alliance systems and working collaboratively on that priority, that green and purple work, and making sure that you are a part of that implementation. We have shared systems for continuous improvement, and we help each other get better. We collaborate on district goals and ensure that we learn together so that we can improve and grow and get better every single day for ourselves, for our families, and for the students we serve. And the school board has planned very intentionally to resolve our space constraints by calling an election and bringing a referendum to our community this fall. A referendum is about community. Communities make decisions on the level of quality they're willing to support in their schools. Strong communities have strong schools. And our community believes in education and believes in the power of what you do every day. We'll ensure throughout the year that you've got facts. We're just launching our informational campaign. You'll be hearing more about that. But we want to make sure that this website is a place that you help others get to so that they also can get the facts. We need to be the ones to share our Prior Lake Savage Area School story. It needs to be our voices who share the facts in our community, because if we don't share our stories, somebody else will. You will be the ones to continue to bring resolution, to minimize the conflicts for our students. Students are waiting for you to tell their stories. Relationships matter, and leadership matters. I'm proud to serve Prior Lake Savage Area Schools with all of you, and I am proud to serve Prior Lake Savage Area Schools with the team of leaders that I have the pleasure of working closely with every single day. This summer, as part of our admin retreat, we spent a day really thinking about our stories. We spent the day thinking about our individual why and our collective why. What is our leadership purpose? And I'm humbled by the commitment and dedication and passion of our leaders, and I wanted to make sure that you got a chance to hear what your leaders say about why they show up, what they want for you, and what they want for our students. Please hold your response until the end of the video.
I lead to inspire, empower, and develop others to thrive so that we can create life chances for all learners through trust, service, authenticity, and love.
I serve to help ensure that all students and staff are able to experience success in a culture that is built around caring relationships, integrity, and compassion for all.
I serve to help others make significant differences in students' lives with integrity, honesty, and compassion.
I lead to support staff and students in developing meaningful relationships that fosters trust, love, and a commitment to social, emotional, and academic excellence.
I serve our smallest learners, or as some may call them, our most excitable learners, to reach their full potential, together with their families and their teachers, fostering trustworthiness, courage, and kindness.
I lead with humility and integrity as a role model for others, striving to become their best authentic self.
I serve to support our students and staff in redefining their educational journey, emphasizing respect, resiliency, inclusion, and responsibility for all.
I serve to help people become the best at who they are, fostering honesty, trust, and compassion for all.
I serve to support all students, staff, and families by fostering a culture of respect, kindness, and compassion.
I lead a strong team who serves nutrient-rich, environmentally conscious meals to students with love and compassion so they can reach their full potential.
I serve to instill a confidence with each student, their families, and staff that with empathy and teamwork, success is the goal, regardless of life challenge or barrier.
This is Janine Peterson, and she has a laryngitis today, so I'm reading for her. Her purpose is to love, serve, stand behind each child nutrition professional by recognizing their strengths, and as a united team, build a culture of excellence that helps our students achieve lifelong wellness.
I serve to inspire a community of lifelong learners where all are valued, respected, and inspired to reach their fullest potential as global citizens.
I serve to ensure that students and staff achieve their full potential with ambition, integrity, and empathy.
I serve by building relationships and helping others achieve their goals through love, kindness, empathy, and hope.
It is my goal to ensure that Prior Lake High School is a positive place to learn for both students and staff, centered on caring, integrity, and self-actualization.
By positively modeling honesty and courage, I lead staff and students in their creation of their best self. #BestMe, whoop!
I serve to support students and staff in becoming their best selves and creating a culture of love, trust, respect, and integrity.
I serve to support students and staff to develop a passion for learning through integrity, compassion, determination, and respect.
I serve to support students and staff in developing meaningful connections with each other and with their school that fosters love, hope, kindness, and trust.
I serve to empower others to teach and lead, fostering hope, integrity, and empathy in every learner.
I serve to form relationships between our school district and the greater community to build trust and share our passion for education.
As a community educator, I lead with an awesome team and community partners in developing and providing programs and services for all ages that foster hopefulness, inspiration, passion, and courage for a lifetime of learning.
I want to be part of building a community where students, colleagues, and parents can be fearless, have autonomy, and experience real joy. Because there they can be their true self, which is their best self.
I serve because I believe in the importance and power of public education, and I serve by supporting all staff and building strong relationships to ensure that we can offer the best possible service to our stakeholders.
I serve the people and programs of Prior Lake Savage Area Schools to meet the individual needs of students through authenticity, inclusion, and integrity.
I lead to promote CARES, cooperation, assertion, responsibility, empathy, and self-control to ensure high levels of learning for all in a safe school environment.
Mi objetivo es inspirar a todos a hacer lo que sea necesario para que los estudiantes sepan que estamos interesados en ellos y en capacitarlos para que alcancen su máximo potencial. Al mismo tiempo, enfatizar sinceridad, positivismo y el servicio a los demás. I serve to inspire all stakeholders to be collectively committed to do whatever it takes to let our students know they are cared for and empowered to learn to their full potential, all the while emphasizing authenticity, positivity, and service to others.
I serve to foster meaningful relationships between staff and students that leads to love, appreciation, kindness, empathy, and respect for self and others.
I lead to serve staff, students, and parents to grow our goals and our talents through empathy, trust, and sincerity. I believe in a shared vision, shared talents, and shared growth.
I serve families of students with exceptional needs and their school teams with reliability, compassion, and genuineness.
I strive to promote and model a love of learning while balancing high expectations with a lot of self-reflection and love. Have a good school year, everyone.
On those days that maybe your leaders aren't showing all that love, you got a chance to say, hey, can you remind me of that purpose statement again? And I'm sure that they would be happy to share that with you. You all have a purpose statement. Whether it's written, whether it's memorized, whether you thought about it this week, or you were getting your teaching license, but you all have a purpose. And I challenge you to continue to think about what that is and why you do what you do every single day. The collective energy of our Prior Lake Savage Area School stories comes together through our mission and the traditions and the rituals that bind us together and help us define who we are as Prior Lake Savage Area Schools, who we are as Lakers. I'd like to invite Randy Erland's son to the stage to help tell our Laker fight song, that thing that brings us together.
Good morning. My name is Randy Erlandson, and I have the extreme privilege of being the choir director here at Prior Lake High School. Love my job. We are PLSAS. And today you've heard lots of stories, and I'm going to share one more with you this morning of a Prior Lake graduate who did something for our district, whose impact is still being felt today, over 6 decades after her graduation from Prior Lake High School. In 1951, there was one school in Prior Lake. We call that Greenwood today. And it housed all of the students in kindergarten through 12th grade. The music director at the time was Mr. Carl E. Christofferson, and he chose the trio section of March Salutation by Roland Seitz as the music for a school fight song to commemorate the new building. Students were challenged to compose a set of lyrics to complement that melody. A few students took that to heart, and after the lyrics were submitted, a winner was chosen. The prize? An eternally grateful community and a half day off of school. The winner of this contest was Margaret Antonsen, who would later graduate in 1955 as valedictorian of her class, before going to school at the Stavas to begin her pursuit of a career in nursing. She married another Prior Lake graduate, Don Bussey, who also left an impact on our community by serving on City Council for 17 years, as well as being on the Park Board Commission. They started and raised a family and developed strong roots here in Prior Lake that has grown to include 2 more generations of Lakers. There are few things that a community can identify with and rally around more than a school song. The upbeat and rousing nature of such pieces makes it nearly impossible for us to stay seated and be still. Instead, we find ourselves standing and clapping and cheering in time to the music because we simply can't help it. And that's just the instrumental part. The lyrics tell of our identity and unite us around our team and our students. Because we are here today, we are all Lakers, and we should all sing along. As a district staff, you play an important part in fostering this valuable tradition, and thanks to Mrs. Bussey, you have a song to sing. At this time, I am honored and would like to invite Margaret, her daughter Brenda, son-in-law Tim, who is also a Prior Lake graduate, and their children, I hope I get this right, Katie, Donnie, Joey, and Annie to the stage so we can properly recognize and thank Mrs. Margaret Bussey for her contribution to one of the most identifiable and easily recognized pieces in the history of Prior Lake Savage Area Schools, the Prior Lake School Song. be honest, I have no idea what those words are to my school songs. I played piccolo in marching band. I can play it. I couldn't begin to tell you if there were words, much less what they are. But thank you, Mrs. Bussey, for not only being here today, but for your words that are still being sung all these years later. For those of you who don't know, the school words are hanging on a rather large sign in the gym here at Prior Lake High School. And after talking with Russ Reeds, we are going to be designing a plaque to be displayed next to your words to commemorate your contribution to our district so we can always remember exactly who you are. At this time, I'm going to call out my music peeps. Come on over, guys. This is when you call in favors. To come help lead the next part of our assembly today. As we come up, you will see Margaret's words up on the screen. And yes, you have to sing along. You're not being graded on this, it's fine. Don't worry about it. You're not being assessed on your ability to sing a school song. You are being assessed on your ability to show your Laker spirit, though. So as you prepare to head back to your classroom, sing loud and sing proud with all of the Laker pride that you can muster to help us kick off what is certain to be another fantastic and exciting year in the Prior Lake Savage Area School District. We are PLSAS. Today you heard a few of our stories. Now you get to hear our song. Take it away, guys.
Margaret, for being here today. What a delight. This is a historic moment for Prior Lake, for us to have a chance to actually meet you, for you to hear 600 voices sing the lyrics that you wrote in 1955. What did you do on that day off of school?
My boyfriend took the day off.